Today we're asking you which quarterback will be the best in the NFL. Michael Penix, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, or Jaden Daniels?
No Drake Maye, huh?
Oh, I know.
Vote and vote hard. No.
Caleb. Pretty easy. Don't outthink the room.
Bo Nix is leading.
Bo Nix, by the way, supposedly had a terrible week at the Senior Bowl. So he played all right in the game, but yeah, it's shocking that in the 1080 to the fan poll question that Bo Nix is the one that's leading.
What are you saying?
There might be some bias there. He didn't. It's funny because after the Senior Bowl itself, that Penix didn't play, there was some positive stuff coming out of the game. But if you read any of the stuff, and again, take it for what it's worth, just different reporters, I didn't read really much positivity coming out about Bo Nix at all during the week.
Nor did I.
And that he hurt himself quite a bit.
As a matter of fact, they're saying for the draft, it'd be Caleb Williams, Drake Maye, Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
The top three guys.
Yeah.
And none of them were in the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
The quarterback waters are getting quite murky.
Yeah.
Because Penix, they're saying while he was clearly the best quarterback that was at the Senior Bowl, he showed off his arm. The dude can spin it.
Yeah.
We already knew that about him.
Yeah.
The knocks on him, really weren't on display.
No, and he didn't really do anything to alleviate any of those concerns.
But Nix, they said, was uncomfortable all week.
Yeah. So.
And looked uncomfortable all week, and he missed a ton of throws. And they even said, I read a report where he didn't even display. They said that he didn't display much arm talent.
No, and so now you're going back. Unfortunately, he's going to face you were one thing at Auburn, and then you went to Oregon. How much of that was the system? And we love to bash guys for the system quarterbacks. Look, he's going to go, and he's going to get a shot. But it sure seems like middle of the year, there was a lot of top 10, top 12 stuff for Bo Nix. And now you're hearing end of the first round, second round sort of stuff. And he can turn that around, obviously, with pro days and all that. But again, all of this is just scouts and writers. But it doesn't sound like he really did a whole lot to help himself that week. But in situations like this, you don't outthink the room. Caleb Williams was viewed as a generational talent. And I didn't think he had a great year this year. I think he developed some really, really nasty habits. And I was pretty vocal about that as we watched the season progress. And I think there's a lot there that if you're an NFL team, it scares the hell out of you that he can't play like that. If he plays the way he did his senior year, especially the second half of the senior year, one, he's not going to survive. And two, it's going to be an unmitigated disaster. But when you hear guys like this, whether it's Andrew Luck, whether it's Trevor Lawrence, trying to think if there's anyone else that's come along in the last 10 or 15 years where it's like, hey, this is different. Those guys usually don't fail. They don't always live up to it. I think Lawrence still obviously has some questions, about what his long-term, ceiling is. But for the most part, guys like that don't bust very often. Burrow had a little bit of this, where it was like, dude, this guy isn't going to fail. And I think that's Caleb Williams. And doesn't mean it can't happen, but you don't outthink the room on that. There's a reason why people said what they said about Caleb. There's a reason why that his NFL comp at the highest is Patrick Mahomes. Not such a lofty one, but you do see some similarities in the way they play. And so you don't outthink the room. Now, I get it if you're Chicago and you decide you want to keep Fields, or you think that there isn't that much of a difference between the second quarterback and Caleb Williams. Because remember, it's not Caleb Williams or Drake Maye or Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. It's Caleb Williams versus one of those quarterbacks and probably 2 1s and 2 2s. Like that may change it a little bit, but no one's going ahead of Caleb Williams. I would be very surprised.
Quarterback to keep an eye on, apparently, made waves at the Super Bowl. The Senior Bowl. Gus Bradley's kid. Have you heard of Carter Bradley?
Carter Bradley. Yeah. I do not know of Carter Bradley, not Cardi B. I've heard of her.
That's a pretty good nickname for him.
Yeah, a little Cardi B.
Carter Bradley was the starter at South Alabama for like 1 year, but he's Gus Bradley's kid.
Okay, so he's the other quarterback. I did see some stuff about the South Alabama kid. I did not know that was Gus Bradley's kid.
Yeah, they said he was great, and he could sneak up draft boards. Also, Jackson Powers Johnson was one of the biggest winners of the Senior Bowl weekend.
Yeah, he was.
Even though he got hurt.
He got hurt.
He was dominating.
So he's the best center in the draft. Centers don't always go super high.
They said he was playing guard too.
Yeah. So going into this, there was an idea that is he a second day guy? late first, early second. And I think on a lot of people's boards, he's cemented himself. One, he's an enormous human being. And I guess he was cleaning up in one-on-one drills, and he can play guard. He made himself a lot of money. And I mean a lot of money at the Senior Bowl.
All right. Oh, somebody text the Vancouver Ford text line, and you can too.
Yeah.
At 503-864-6326. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. VancouverFord.com. They said perhaps Nix is a candidate to go later, and that's good, right? Like later first round.
I mean, I suppose.
That's good.
It's not good for your bank account.
No, but it gets him to a better situation.
But, here's the thing. Like, if you get past the first 5 or 6 picks, you're not going to garbage organizations. Like, if Bo Nix was going 10th or 11th, I promise you'd rather go 10th or 11th than you would going 30th.
You know who picks 10th? Jets.
Well, you get to sit behind Aaron Rodgers for a little bit, and see what happens.
8th is Atlanta.
I'm just saying, we love to do it's great that he fell in the draft. No, it's not. No one wants to fall in the draft.
Well, it is. No, it is good. And it's not to say that it's like the greatest thing, but it's a silver lining sort of thing.
Yeah, I guess.
If you get drafted by, I'm looking down here at the bottom of the draft, like Buffalo.
Yeah.
Or Detroit. Or Baltimore. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. No, let me just say this. Sitting behind Lamar Jackson for 5 years is not good. Well,
what about Detroit?
I mean, I guess, although they're going to sign Goff to an extension this offseason.
What if you get drafted by Kansas City? I mean, come on.
That's awful.
You're like, this is great.
I'm never going to play. I think ideally where you want to end up is a place like, I'm trying to think.
Pittsburgh.
They
picked 20.
Pittsburgh. There you go. You're in a good organization. You're in theory, you get a good run game, right? There's stability there. Like that's where
Seattle 16.
Yeah. Well, we all know that mock drafts are never flawed. So Jeff Russ just came in here and mentioned to me that the Matt Miller mock draft that is just up has Bo Nix going 12th to the Broncos.
Okay, Denver. That's not a bad one.
See, I would love that too.